Welcome to weekly Forex forecast from Forex Trading Wizard Academy. This is Forex Wizard, a trading coach. I will be doing a complete multi-time frame analysis of all the hottest currency pairs and indices that you will be looking to trade next week. The list is a bit longer as usual, but don't worry, I will put a time stamp in the description area. But I suggest you to watch all of them. As you have seen in our previous weekly Forex forecast, most of the pairs did exactly according to the analysis. Now, as we have seen past week, the market was extremely volatile and we have seen that huge movement in all the pairs including gold, GBPUSD and EURUDD. And in the upcoming week, we are expecting further volatility as there is holiday coming up. We could see a bit more stronger movement in the market. Now, before we discuss how we can trade all of them one by one, guys, make sure that you smash the like button and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't done yet. Without further delay, let's get started. Okay guys, so let's begin with DXY, as DXY will give us clear direction of the most of the USD pairs including gold, and then we will be jumping on all other pairs that might give us trading opportunity in the upcoming week. So first of all, DXY, looking at higher time frame, starting with the monthly, as monthly will give us clear direction, removing all the noise from the lower time frame. Looking at the monthly DXY, what we have seen that after previous monthly very strong bearish movement, this month the market opened with a gap, and we have seen that after initial pullback, DXY has dropped to the downside so far, as it is currently in a bearish move. What I think that DXY this month, ultimately we could see that the market is dropping down to this monthly support, but before that we could see another bounce to the upside for another pullback. Now if we look at the weekly, where we can see that previous week there was a big drop from the weekly, from this resistance level, created this bearish candle. Now what I think that this week we might see that initial bounce to the upside and then again another drop before the monthly close. Now if we look at the daily time frame on DXY, we can see that from the daily perspective there is a daily drop after forming a double top. We have seen a big drop followed by a daily narrower candle, and as the price already made a bullish candle, what I think that this week initially we can expect further pullback to the upside. As the market has formed a double top, a breakdown, we can expect a pullback to the upside to this previous support, turning resistance, and from that zone we can expect DXY to drop to the downside. Now looking at the further lower time frame to see how the price is doing, where we can see that the market already made an initial movement, and we could see that a little bit of consolidation, and we can expect for the price throughout the week to move up and then to drop back down. So this is where what I think that DXY, we could see that after consolidation or liquidity grab, we can expect for DXY to go back up and to drop down before the end of the month. So based on that, let's look at now how other instruments are doing, starting with AUDUSD, looking at the monthly. Now from the monthly, as expected in our previous weekly Forex forecast, AUDUSD from this level we have seen that at initial bounce to the upside, as the market had an imbalance in that area, we can expect AUDUSD to move up further from the monthly to fill that imbalance and then to drop down again to the major direction of the trend. Now if we look at the weekly time frame, where you can see that from the weekly perspective this is a big move correction, another move correction. Now the price has made another bullish candle, and what I think that this week we might see that AUDUSD after a little pullback to the upside, we can expect another drop, and this week we might see that AUDUSD is testing this support initially and then going back up to the major direction of the trend. Now looking at the daily, where AUDUSD, if you look at here, a movement, and now we can expect for the price to come back down to this neckline of this previous resistance here, turning support, and from that zone we can expect AUDUSD to have a bounce. So this is where we can expect on AUDUSD to come back down and to move back up to the resistance level, where we can see that AUDUSD has made a big move here, and what we can expect on AUDUSD to drop further to retest this level and then to continue to drop to the upside. So this is where I will be waiting for potential selling opportunity in the beginning of the week for AUDUSD to give that potential drop, and as soon as we find suitable entry in that zone, we'll look for potential selling, and this is where we will look for buying throughout the week for this potential long-term movement to the upside on AUDUSD. Now let's look at euro dollar, and then we'll look at other instrument as well. Now looking at the euro dollar, we have seen that past week euro dollar was in significant drop in that direction. Now if we look at the monthly, first of all, we can see that from the monthly, euro dollar has tested the previous monthly high, and again the price has come back down to the what I think that euro dollar might be dropping down and then bouncing back up from this level. Now if you look at the weekly time frame on euro dollar, we can see that from the weekly, this is a weekly bullish candle, and with that bullish candle, the price, we could see that initial drop further, and then we can expect it to continue to rise to the upside. Now looking at the daily time frame, there is a daily red bearish candle last day of trading week, and from this impulse the price has made a move where it couldn't create a new higher high. Instead it has created a lower high. What I think that euro dollar is likely to do initially to drop to this liquidity zone, and from this zone we can expect euro dollar to bounce back up. So this is where, as you can see, euro dollar already made a move in that direction, the price in a very important liquidity zone, and I think that euro dollar will try to break that low. And as you can see, if we readjust this level for this liquidity zone, and from this zone we can expect euro dollar to bounce back up. So this is where, if we see that euro dollar has made a strong bearish price action, we can look for potential selling on euro dollar from this level on the lower time frame, and this is the zone that we can look for potential buying on euro dollar throughout the week for this potential move to the upside. Now let's look at other instruments such as GBPUSD. Now as you can see, GBPUSD, euro dollar, AUDUSD, as their USDPY are almost behaving in the similar way. Looking at the monthly, first of all, on GBPUSD, now from the monthly we can see that so far this is the previous monthly bullish candle. Now this month we have seen that GBPUSD so far has formed a monthly doji, which is still 12 days to go, but what I think that as the market has made significant move to the upside, we can expect now from the monthly as well to come down for a deeper pullback before bouncing off. Now looking at the weekly, so far this is the weekly candle, which is a bullish candle, but at the same time it triggered the liquidity from the top, so we can expect initial drop on GBPUSD, and at the end we can expect for bounce back to the upside. Now looking at the daily, where this is the daily bullish move, and we have seen the price started to move down again for a deeper pullback, and I think that GBPUSD to drop further initially in the week, and then we can expect for the price to bounce back up. Looking at the intraday perspective on GBPUSD, where we can see that the market here is the price started to drop, and I think that we could see a retest of this neckline and then to drop back up, as the price has made a consolidation, a breakout, a retest, and then we can expect it to continue to the upside. So this is where we can look for potential selling opportunity on GBPUSD for this potential move to the downside. Now let's look at dollar CAD. Now if we look at dollar CAD, we can see that past week dollar CAD was extremely volatile. There was a big drop on dollar. Now looking at the monthly on dollar CAD, we can see that from the monthly time frame there is a monthly bearish engulfer, followed by this month after little pullback to the upside. There's a big drop. Now with that drop, what I think the dollar CAD may come down to retest this monthly support level again. So throughout the month we can expect dollar to remain bearish, but this week we might see a pullback to the upside. Now looking at the weekly, where you can see that from the weekly perspective there's a big drop. The price already has broken this weekly support level that we can expect a retest this week initially, and then can expect to drop back again. Now if we look at the daily, where we can see that there's a daily drop on dollar CAD, and we can expect now a pullback to the upside to retest this long-term support here as a resistance, and then we can expect for the price to drop down again. Now looking at the intraday perspective on dollar CAD, we see that this is a huge drop. After this kind of drop we can expect a pullback, but the market is extremely bearish on dollar CAD, so highly likely that we could see further drop. So this is where I will be waiting for a pullback to the upside, and as soon as we see the price has made significant pullback and has given a price action confirmation for further drop, we will look for going short on dollar CAD with a high probability trade setup with our students. Now let's look at JPY pairs, and then we'll be looking at the gold and other instrument as well. Guys, make sure that you stick till the end of this analysis to see all of them. So looking at first of all dollar yen to see how it is doing. Now dollar yen, we see that yen got very stronger throughout the quite a few weeks, still remaining strengthening on yen. So with the weakness on dollar, we could see that further bearish on dollar yen. Let's look at first of all higher time frame to see overall picture. Now you can see that it's a long-term bullish market, but at the same time the price has broken out of the structure, and this is the monthly candle. And what I think that finally we could see the dollar yen is coming down to retest this long-term monthly support, which is a high liquidity zone. As the price moves from liquidity to liquidity from this resistance level, we can expect for the price to come back down to this liquidity zone before bouncing off this level. Now if we look at the weekly time frame on dollar yen, we can see that from the weekly time frame back to back quite a few weeks of very strong bearish price action. This is the last week's candle, which is a middleman, and we can expect for the price to drop further to the downside. And with the drop, highly likely we could see the dollar yen now retesting this low of this weekly doji, as when the price has made a move to the upside from this doji, this long week candle has not been tested, which is a clear imbalance in the market. So dollar yen, we can expect it to remain bearish further in the upcoming week. Now if we look at the daily time frame, we can see that there was a daily bearish channel on dollar yen, and with that bearish channel the price has broken out of the channel. Last day of trading week, a very narrower doji, which is a sign of further bearish movement, which is a sign of very weaker response from the buyers. What I think that in the upcoming week we could see that the buyers might try to break this high, and as soon as we see the dollar yen has broken that high, the price has made significant liquidity grab, we can expect for the price to drop down further. Now looking at the intraday perspective, where there is a big drop on dollar yen, this is a huge drop followed by a structure has been created. This is a bearish structure with a very strong resistance level here, and any kind of break of this resistance will give us selling opportunity on dollar yen. Now as you can see, this is a high liquidity zone. As soon as we see that dollar yen has broken that high, we can look for potential selling opportunity on dollar yen with a high probability trade setup. Let's look at GBPJPY, looking at the monthly time frame for longer term perspective. Now first of all, looking at the monthly on GJ, we see that this is a long term bullish market, but the price started to drop from this monthly resistance, and we have seen that there is a strong breakdown of this long-term market structure. As the prices start to drop, what I think that GJ might come back to this monthly low, or even breaking that low further before bouncing off that level for this upside movement. If we look at the weekly time frame on GBPJPY, we can see that from the weekly perspective, this is a weekly drop here on GJ, and with that weekly drop, this is the weekly support level. There is a doji here, and with the doji, the price, we can see that the market has this is a support level where there is a high liquidity, has made this significant move. And what we can expect on GJ for the price to drop further, to break the low, and then to make this move to the upside again for long-term perspective. Now, looking at the daily time frame on GBPJPY, we can see that from the daily perspective, there is a gap opening here on GJ, and we can see that after previous days of pullback, GJ has made another move, and you can see that this is a very important long wick candle, has made this big move. What we can expect on GBPJPY for the price to come down further, to break the low, and then to bounce back up to the upside. Now, looking at the intraday perspective, where we see that GBPJPY is still maintaining that downtrending market structure, we will be looking for a pullback to the upside, and then as soon as we find suitable entry on GJ, we will be looking for potential selling opportunity along the zone. Let's look at gold. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity currently we have in gold. Now, looking at again higher time frame, looking at the monthly perspective on gold. Now, from the monthly, we can see that gold is, if we look at the overall picture, there was a big uprise on gold this month. So we have seen that created an all-time high, and then we have seen a big drop on gold, created this huge movement to the downside. Now, with that move, gold has formed a long wick candle on the monthly, and what I think that this market might, after little pullback, may drop further, as we see that there was a big drop. The flow is still to the downside. Now, if we look at the weekly time frame, we can see that from the weekly, there is a doji has formed after this big drop on gold on the weekly previous week. This week, the market initially has dropped, has gone back up, and then the price closed here. What I think that this week, we might see that after a little pullback to the upside, we could see gold again dropping down, as it is in a very strongly falling market. And even we could see another doji from the weekly perspective on gold. Now, looking at the daily time frame, where we can see that from the daily, there was a big daily move. The price has gone back up to this resistance level, and from that resistance, we have seen that last day of trading week, a bearish candle has formed on gold, and as the prices started to drop from this significant level of resistance, we can expect further downside on gold. After a little pullback to the upside, we can expect for the price to move down again. Now, from the intraday or 4-hour perspective, we see that there is a head and shoulder formation, and then we have seen a breakdown from that head and shoulder with a very strong liquidity zone. This is a very important liquidity zone. As you can see, there is a doji, and there is a move to the upside, which is a fake move. And as the price is attracted to the liquidity, we can expect for the price to move to the upside again to this liquidity zone, and then to drop back down. As we see that the price has formed this head and shoulder, grab liquidity, we can expect for the price to drop further. And I think that with that move, we could see that gold again coming to this level, where to test this previous neckline of this previous resistance as support, and then we can expect for the price to bounce back up again. Now, if I look at a very lower time frame from the 1-hour chart, we see that there was a long consolidation here and a head and shoulder formation. A break from that head and shoulder, we can expect for the price to go back up and to retest this previous support as a resistance, and from that zone we can expect for the price to drop down again. And this is where I will be waiting for potential selling opportunity on gold. As this market is dropping, we could see that gold is coming down to create a new lower low. This is where I will be waiting for potential entry opportunity on gold in the beginning of the week, and throughout the week I'll keep you updated with any kind of movement coming up in the market. Now let's look at AUDNZD, and then we will be looking at EURUAUD, and afterwards we will be looking at WTI and indices as well. Looking at AUDNZD, looking at the monthly here, we can see that from the monthly, AUDNZD from this monthly support had a big bounce to the upside, and previous months a bearish candle. This month again bounce. What I think that this price might drop later at the end of the month to this support level again. Now looking at the weekly, where we can see that a big drop, a pullback. What I think that this week the price might try to break this weekly high, and then we can expect AUDNZD to drop back down again. Now looking at the daily, where we can see that from the daily perspective on AUDNZD there is a doji, and with the doji what we could see that AUDNZD the price is breaking that high, and from that zone we can expect for the price to drop down again to the long-term direction. So from the intraday perspective on AUDNZD we see a consolidation pattern here, and what we can expect for AUDNZD to break to the upside and then to drop back down again from this resistance level. This is where I will be waiting for potential selling opportunity on AUDNZD. Now looking at also EURUAUD, where we can see that from the monthly time frame. Now from the monthly perspective on EURUAUD we see that this is a long-term bull market, a consolidation pattern here from the monthly, and the price now breaking down from that level. Now with that breakdown, what I think that EURUAUD might try to drop further, breaking this monthly 20 EMA. We can expect EURUAUD to bounce back up. Now looking at the weekly time frame on EURUAUD, from the weekly perspective, where we can see that this is a weekly support level, and with that weekly support this is a weekly bullish candle. The price has gone up, retested this previous support down resistance, and we have seen that a significant drop in that level from the weekly. And this week we can expect initial pullback and then continuation to the downside. Now if we look at the daily time frame on EURUAUD, from the daily time frame there is a daily resistance here. The price has broken that high, and then we have seen that there is a big drop, which is a further continuation to the downside. And as you can see, if you closely look at here, the price is gathering liquidity. There is one here and there is one here. The price gathering liquidity means that we can expect for the price to keep dropping. As the price gathering liquidity from this means that we can expect for the price to remain bearish, and with that bearish move, what I think that EURUAUD might drop back to this long-term support level. Now from the intraday time frame on EURUAUD, the price already made significant bearish movement, and we can expect for a pullback to the upside, and then we can expect for the price to drop down to long-term support level. This is where I will be waiting for a potential selling opportunity on EURUAUD. Now let's look at WTI, how oil is doing. Looking at the monthly, where we can see that from the monthly perspective, where this is the monthly impulse here, followed by this another drop. As the price start to drop from this monthly resistance, we could see that now WTI is coming back to this monthly support level, and still we could see further downside on WTI. Now looking at the weekly, where we can see that there's a big drop on the weekly. Every candle is red. Now with that strong drop, what we could see that on WTI is for the price to as this is the weekly candle, which is still remaining bearish, creating series of lower high and lower low. And what we can expect on WTI for the price to test this high and then to drop back down to this long-term support level. Now looking at the daily, where we can see that from the daily perspective the price is approaching that resistance level. There is a daily doji, and with the market opening we could see initial bounce where it will find a very important liquidity zone where there is a daily 20 EMA, and also breaking that high could give a very important liquidity zone. So looking at further lower time frame, where we can see that from the further lower time frame where the price, this is the resistance level, and as soon as we see the price has broken out, tested this liquidity zone and has given us suitable entry on WTI, we'll look for going short on WTI with high probability trade setup with our students. Now let's look at indices, starting with US30 to see overall picture. First of all, let's look at the monthly. Now from the monthly, US30 is strongly bullish. If you look at now, the price already above the monthly resistance level, and I think that this market, it's in a no man's land. As you can see, it's almost a very all-time high, and we can expect for this price to remain bullish for long-term perspective. Now looking at the weekly, where this is the weekly bullish candle followed by a narrow doji, another bullish candle. Now from the weekly we see that US30, though it is a long-term bull market, we can expect now a deeper pullback. This is a weekly candle which is a sharp bullish move, and what I think that this week we might see that US30 coming back down to retest this doji, and from this zone we can expect bounce back up again. Now from the daily, where this is a daily very strong uptrending market structure on US30, and with that uptrending market structure, this is where we can expect US30 to drop back down to this liquidity zone, and from this zone we can expect for the price to bounce back again. So this is where, if we see that US30 has given a suitable selling opportunity, look for selling to this support level, and as soon as we find that US30 has given us buying opportunity after breaking that low, we'll look for going long on US30 with a high probability trade setup with our students. Now let's look at NASDAQ. Now looking at the NASDAQ, we can see that from the NASDAQ, looking at the monthly time frame, we can see that this is the monthly impulse followed by a narrow correction, back-to-back 3 weeks of pullback, and we see that again the market started to move up. This is the monthly bullish engulfer followed by a narrower monthly candle, and we can expect for NASDAQ to drop down to this support level, and then we can expect for the price to bounce back up. Now looking at the weekly time frame on NASDAQ, we can see that this is a weekly impulse followed by there was a liquidity grab here, and from that zone we saw a big bullish move to the upside, and from that move we can expect for the price to bounce back up again to the upside. But at the same time, as the market has made significant move, the price is approaching that resistance like the US30, we can expect initial pullback and then to go back up again. Now if we look at the daily, where this is the daily move on NASDAQ, and we can expect for the price to come down to retest this resistance as a support, and from this zone we can expect for the price to bounce back up. Now looking at further lower time frame, where we can expect initial pullback to this support, and from that zone we can expect for the price to bounce back up again. This is where I will be waiting for after price action confirmation potential selling zone, and this is where we will consider as a buying zone after a retest of this level. This is the pairs that we will be looking to trade in the upcoming week, in addition to the other pairs also coming up in the market. I will keep you updated guys along the week as soon as we will find suitable entry. With that said guys, I hope that you enjoyed this weekly forex forecast. As you know that we are trading all of them instrument in the VIP group as well. If you want to join us to learn the strategy that we are trading and to be part of the trading community, you can join us today. Link below this video in the description area, where you can learn the strategy that I am trading, and also be part of trading community. Thank you, and I'll see you soon in my next analysis.